lips feel bent from the dip. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense, cause you can lose life.
Welcome everybody. Good morning. I am so excited to be back. Oh my gosh. It's been such an amazing journey the last 2 years. Thank you. Thank you so much. We do not take for granted your willingness and interest in being a part of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. For those of you who don't know, I am Tony Simmons Henson. I am the producing director and also the co founder of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. And I want to officially welcome you to history. We're going to do a phenomenal job. I know the work that has been submitted for this year, it was super competitive. You all are so creative. You have so many stories, wonderful stories to be told. And I'm just excited. The submissions came in really slow in the very beginning, and I was like, oh, we're gonna be able to pull this off. There was a lot of there was a and then towards the end, I guess everybody decided they wanted to submit at the last minute. We got a ton of submissions, and it was just so difficult to choose. So congratulations to you, because you were one of those that made it. And I think that it's important for you to understand and recognize that, because we do get a lot of submissions and people do write good quality work. There's a lot of junk out there, but there is some quality work out there as well. So it's really important for you to know that making it into the festival, because we are so limited, really does say something about who you are and your work. So without further ado, I'm going to go into the welcome. We're going to go over some really important things that you need to know as a producer in this festival. We are all about the audience's experience, the end user, what they call in the industry, the end user experience. So I want you all to know that that is dependent on all of your cooperation. Now, that's a lot of cooperation from a lot of people, but I can tell you that being here, and in this being our 11th year, we certainly have a formula that works. So what I'm going to go ahead is I'm going to share my screen, and I want you to feel free. I see you guys are already commenting, which is great, because that means you're alive and you're here, you're present and engaging. This Zoom type or streaming type is so non-interactive, but it is what we have. And so we appreciate, again, you being here, because we are call and response people. So don't hold off on the comments. Go ahead and enter your questions as we go, because then I can go back to them in the end if you have any questions. And I'm sure you probably will have. There will be a couple, and we'll get through those questions, and I'll go back and to be able to address them. And there's nothing wrong with writing them down and putting them in later. But if you want to go ahead and put them in as we go along, you can do that as well. I'm going to give you some apologies up front. I'm from New Jersey, so I talk kind of fast. I will try my best to slow it down. It's just a habit that I have. So if I'm going too fast, say, "Oh, wait a minute, slow down." You're going too fast. So just let me know, and you can do that, always do that in the comment section. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so you all can see how to. I just unshared it, and so let me just go ahead and put it back in the system. There we go. And I'm gonna talk through this. I hope everybody can still hear me. If you can, just give me a shout out. Shout out where you're from too, as well. Great. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to be here for about an hour, so it won't be long, but definitely good stuff. And if we can get through it in less than an hour, that's fine as well. So I want to officially welcome, well, typo, we get started on the wrong foot. All right. I want to officially welcome you to the 2022 as producers and presenters of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. Tell you a little bit about my story, and it's on the website, but I think it's important to share your stories. And I am such an advocate of storyteller because I truly believe that it is my calling to encourage people to tell their stories because stories inspire. When you know the truth and authentic story about someone, what you do is you get to know who they are, and it makes them human. I think that's a lot of the reasons why we have so much hatred and a lack of love in this world. It's because we don't know what other people's story is. They show up and they're mean, but we don't know what they've been through. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about mine. I am a business entrepreneur. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've owned several businesses, including three franchises, three, three out of two, blah, three franchise systems I've been a part of in my life. I've started businesses, and recently, or not so recently, my latest adventure was the start of Micah 68 Media, and that's the media company that was founded in 2009, and that was the company under which I founded the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. Why the festival? I was an owner of another franchise in senior care, and I hit rock bottom. It was a very bad business deal. The the festival, or I mean, the franchise owners, they were making all the money and I was doing all the work. So it was just a very bad deal. And one of the things I didn't have, which I should have known better, was an exit strategy. So what I ended up was doing, I ended up walking away from my investment, which was very difficult to do. And then I tried to restart on my own, and there was a clause, and I ended up getting sued, and it was just a terrible, terrible experience. So I had to declare bankruptcy. So I was rock bottom, and I had been in real estate. I had lots of real estate properties. It was also during the time of devastation of 2008 to 10. I don't know if you all remember that, when nobody had work, lines were around the corner. People, you couldn't even get a job at Walmart or McDonald's, as they say. You can always work at McDonald's. There was no jobs, and so it was difficult. And I had four children. I'm married. My husband was living in New Jersey at the time, and because we relocated here, and he's in banking, so the market crashed. He couldn't find a job here, so that was a 5-year haul. And one night, my husband said to me, or one day he said, "You were happy when you were doing theater." And I was like, "Yeah, you're really right. That's it." Because one of the franchises that I'd owned that I had let go when I was in New Jersey was Drama Kids, where I produced, it was an acting and public speaking skills academy. And we had lots of awards. We were number two franchise. We got an award for the fastest growing franchise in the country, and it's a franchise that was based in Perth, Australia. But that's really where I hone my love for the arts and dramatic arts. And teaching kids and seeing the difference between a young child who barely spoke to somebody who uh, built their confidence and their oratorical ability to share and to express themselves and engage was just the most rewarding experience for me. So when I decided to move to Atlanta, I let that business go, and because it's territorial, and was going to relocate it here to Atlanta, but I didn't. Decided to branch out on my own. So anyway, soon after that, the bankruptcy occurred, and we suffered a six-figure loss, which was devastating to our family because we don't have a wealthy background. We can't lose that kind of money and it not hurt for generations to come. So at the same time, my sister Wanda needed a place to live because she had been not she didn't need a place to live, but she had been laid off from her job, and she was working in Georgia for the state of Georgia. So she moved in with us to help together. We pooled our resources so we could survive the time, and we ended up, just because we talk and we explore and we dream, we said, let's do the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. And it actually came before she moved in. It came in a night where I was despondent, and the words were came to me. Those four words came to me: Atlanta Black Theater Festival. And because of my love of theater, I thought it already existed in Atlanta, because me being new to Atlanta has everything. Of course, it has a Black Theater Festival, but it didn't. And those words were were what you come to know today. But because I'm a serial entrepreneur, and anybody who's an entrepreneur, that you can't have a mission without a mandate. So, in 2012, in February of 2012, Trayvon Martin was assassinated. And at the time, he was 17, and my son was 17. And that picture of him in that football uniform was the same one that I had on my mantle, as many, many, many other families had on their mantle. And it could have been my child. And me coming from the North, moving to the South with reservations, I already knew, or already had those preconceived reservations about, my son in the South. So that was our reason. And I realized that we really had an image problem. We had a self-image problem. We also had an image problem in terms of, and I always knew this, but this is when it became the mandate, that the way people see us, and sometimes the way we see ourselves, was skewed, and someone else had labeled us. So that's when I decided that this is the reason why, and this is the reason why we needed to be sustainable. So this is what keeps me going every single time someone is shot and killed, for no reason, just because they're profiled and they're of African descent, or whatever reason it is. This is the reason that says I have to continue to do this work, because we must tell our stories. So through the good, the bad, and the ugly, we must absolutely tell our stories, because it reminds us that we're human. And for those of you who don't know, who we are, what we have, over the past 10 years, what we do basically, there, there are five key components to the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. And all of this background is very, very important for you to understand what you're becoming a part of. And we do incubation, which is what I consider like a business incubator, where we help bring you in as a producer, no matter what your range of experience. And I can tell you, whatever it is, you're always still learning. I was at a 3-day conference yesterday, and because I'm still learning, everybody's always still learning. And as long as we realize and recognize that we're all still learning, the better off we'll be, because we're always looking to do things better. So we bring all of our years and years of experience together, and we incubate. We also educate, we teach you, and we have professionals and experts. And education to me is not just me telling you, or somebody on a higher level telling somebody on a lower level something. It's sharing and exchanging ideas. So your experience and your wealth of experience doesn't go is useful. It's not useful because you've only been in the business, or only been in this theater game for 5 years, and I've been in it for 15, or someone else has been in it for 30. It's all of us exchanging our ideas, because there's something new about audiences. Everything is changing. You may have a fresh perspective on something. And also preservation. Preservation is so important, because we as artists, we need to preserve our stories. They're trying to erase our history as we speak today. This debate over the critical race theory, which isn't taught in schools. But what they're doing is they're using it as a tool to black out our stories, the stories of us, and the contributions that we've made to this global citizenship, to this global civilization, and also to the American landscape. Um, and then collaboration. I love it that we get a chance to collaborate. This is what we all are doing. This is a platform where all of you are coming together to bring your talent, to bring your gifts, to bring your knowledge, to present to the public. That's what we're doing. So it's all a collaborative effort. And then finally, the presentation. We're presenting it to thousands of theater, hundreds of thousands of theater lovers. I mean, tens of thousands of theater lovers over the years and art lovers over the years. How do we do that? We do that with you and your talents and your gifts. We do that with college and universities, our partnerships with them, providing us with interns. We do that by a staff. We have a staff right now. We have a staff of 3 people. Our artistic director actually moved from being artistic director to our board. So we have an opening for an artistic director. So if anybody's interested, we will be sending out a call for that. And then we have 10 board members. We have 10 board members who are very hardworking. And there's also opportunities every year for anybody who wants to get more involved to join our board. So, one of my favorite sayings is as we begin to grow and we grow to the festival is you have to master it so you can make it so you can matter. And that's Damon John. I heard him say that once. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to matter and make a difference. This is what people say about us. We are so excited that we are definitely revered in this game. Coming, not having a theater background is really hard to get into any arena of an industry, especially an industry as cliquish as the theater industry and the theater world. It is definitely one that is exclusively older, white, and then, of course, we tend to do that to ourselves, make it exclusive ourselves. I don't want to do that. I open it up to everybody. I'll open it up to urban playwrights as well as what I call traditional playwrights. So, all genres, everybody, as long as it's a great story and it's told well, we want you to be a part of it. So, that's how we got to be, I think, ranked really high. And one of the proudest moments when we were ranked in 2018 as one of the top theater festivals to visit around the world from Top 10 Zilla. So that's one of pride thing. Other magazines have said things about us. Atlanta Magazine, top 5 picks for October, 8 countries, and dozens of festivals. This is by far the best. This was said by Manuel Ortiz of the Latin American Theater Corridor. Blavity said 5 dope events you must check out in Atlanta this fall. So we're all over the place in terms of our reach and who we reach. We reach over 41,000 people. We have a subscriber base where we have a very visible engagement on social media. Facebook is um, per, our leading engagement right now. We started on Facebook. I really believe if it wasn't for Facebook, we would not have grown as fast and as far as we have. We reach about half a million people, over half a million people each month, and we engage close to 50,000 each month. Um, so yeah, that means why? What does that mean? That means what Wilson said in 1996: Black theater is alive and vibrant. However, Black theater is not funded. So we're trying to continue to create opportunities digitally. Of course, we live in a digital world now, as well as for live events. So we're working on programs and programming that will address our audiences and keep our audiences engaged. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to join us yesterday. We actually streamed into 160 schools and homes yesterday for our we had a tribute to Harriet Tubman, her bicentennial tribute. 200 years ago, Harriet Tubman graced us with her presence on this earth. and we did a special tribute to her. For those of you who were there, give us a shout out in the comments section and let me know how you liked it. I think it was a phenomenal event. We had a panel of experts, and it was just one of the things we do. Now, for Festival 2022, what it's going to consist of is this, and this is an overview. So think of yourself as riding over the festival. You're going to see this is the schedule, and we're keeping it simple. And the word for me for this week is focus. You know, every week I get a word that I meditate on. I really believe that it comes from God. But this week is focus. So we're focusing on quality instead of quantity this year as we plan to move forward. And that's important, especially during these times that are uncertain. So live performances, we're going to have a creative, two things: one, live performances; two, creative arts conference. Now, what we've done in the past is we've always had the stage readings as something separate, but now the stage reading series is going to be morphed into the creative arts conference. So that's going to be a part of that. So from now on, we're going to have live performances and then the creative arts conference, which will include panels, workshops, parties, master classes, and stage readings and film. So that's the best way for you to look at it. In addition to that, these are our um, adjacent programs. We will have an art and gallery talk, and that's a supplemental community event that will be free and open to the public in between the performances. And then we have college internships. This is a part of our outreach. And then we have a monologue competition, which is also a part of our outreach for the young people, which I think is really critical to moving any organization forward. Now, what does this look like for you? Now, as we morph these two together, it may seem as though they're different, but remember, stage readings are now a part of the Creative Arts Conference. Now, for you, there is a festival participation fee. That is $100. Now, you're going to put that up front, and that's going to reserve your space for those of you who have been accepted in that category. Now, um, however, we wrote for a grant and we were awarded the grant. So at the end of that period, you will be able to apply and automatically receive a $50 grant after the festival, though. This is after the festival. So just remember that, and we will send you a notice. You'll be able to submit an application and for the grant, and then you'll be able to get that grant awarded, will be awarded to you. So your net festival participation is $50. Now, why is this? Why do we charge? I know a lot of people always say, why do you charge? Because stuff costs. And I think that's kind of obvious. We have to pay for the facilities that we are occupying. They don't give them to us for free, contrary to what people don't automatically think about. So we have to pool our resources. ABTF is just a platform. We're not a producing company. So we have to pool our resources. And one of the ways that we do pool our resources is by charging a festival fee. That covers anything that we need, like security or the venue space really takes up most of it. We have to have insurance also. So we make sure that, the company is protected. And there's also marketing. Marketing is a huge part of our budget. We do a lot of marketing. And if we couldn't have marketing, if there weren't marketing, you wouldn't be here. So we have to do marketing. So there's a lot of things that goes into that festival fee. We try to keep it as low as possible because we don't want everything to be on the backs of the artists, but we're artists as well. We're just providing a platform for you. So we kind of pool our resources so it makes it cheaper for you. If you were to go out to a hotel room and rent a hotel conference room, think about what that will cost. It's not going to cost you $100. I can tell you that. It's going to cost you a few $100s. Or if you were to rent a theater to do your stage reading, it's going to cost you. All right, so the next thing is your running time. You can't run it more than 75 minutes. It has to be that has to include your talk back. So if you have a play, you can't this is so important because we're booking them back to back. It has to be 75 minutes or less. So that and then you have to leave for room for a talk back. And it's good. This is just a little tip for you. Have somebody in your audience, or your mom or your sister or somebody or a friend ask the first question for a talk back, and that gets people going. We always do that. Have someone in when because nobody wants to be the first one to ask the first question, and you'll be standing there awkwardly saying, "Does anybody have any questions?" And then they have them, but they don't want to be first. So just have your mom or sister or your brother or somebody in the audience to ask that first question, and then stage reading submissions. That if you submitted a stage reading with less than 35 minutes, then you're going to be doubled and paired with someone else. So just remember that if it's less than 30 or 35 minutes or less, you're going to be sharing that time slot with someone else. All right. So the next one is maximum crew size of 10. One of the we ask questions very deliberately on our application because we want to get an idea of what it is you're bringing and how you operate. And one of the questions that we ask is your crew size. People know and understand that today, when you're producing theater, especially when you're touring, it is not it is not smart to have a cast of 30, 40 people. People have done it, and I'm not saying you can't do it. But when you're talking about a stage reading, if you get more than a cast of 5, you really are getting yourself in trouble. So, scripts and all the universities are telling everybody now, scripts are small, casts are smaller now. Gone are the days of 20, 30, 40 cast ensembles. Those were way back in the day. They don't do that anymore, especially when you're talking about dramatic theater. So crew size and cast, that means you included. So if you have a cast of 7, that's you and an assistant, or you and your director, and or cast of 8. That's cast this 8 cast members, you and the director. You've got to get your artists to help you out being stage hands. If you're bringing props or anything as a stage reading presenter, that's fine. You can bring props. We're going to give you the conference room. So just think hotel conference room. We're going to provide if you have music stands. You're going to bring those music stands. We can provide you a few, but we may not provide you all that you need. But I'll let you know exactly how many we have at the end of the as we get closer to the event. We're ordering some more so we can accommodate everybody. But just remember that. Also, your stage reading is going to be done standing. So that's important for you to remember. We find that it's more engaging for the audience. Table reads are sort of like preliminary reads and not really good for audience. And again, we're always talking about, or everything we do is geared towards the audience experience. So standing stage readings are much more entertaining. So we made that policy last year. So just make sure that you've practiced it standing. And then casting. I know a lot of people are probably thinking about that question, and we'll talk about that later. And if I don't, please definitely ask that question. Festival, and that means casting locally. I mean casting locally. Compensation. The festival sets admission prices, if any, retains admission revenues. We retain all admission revenues for festival stage readings, and artists are not compensated for this event. However, you can generate revenue by selling CDs, DVDs. If you have any books, they don't even have to be related to the artwork, to the art or the submission that you're presenting. If you have especially if you're an author and you've published a book, or you have a manuscript that you want to sell, there's all kinds of ways you can sell products. You can also sell shirts. People, when they love your work, they want a piece of it when you leave. When they leave, they want to take a piece of you home. So don't go overboard, because it's not like, you're going to be able to, make 10 5-figure income sell, but you can sell a few things to make some money. And then you're going to receive 10 complimentary passes on the day of your event. So whatever that Friday is, you'll receive 10. So you can use them to either sell, you can leverage them for sponsorships to invite people to sponsor you and give them a pass, or you can sell them yourself, and we can give you a special code so you can sell them. For at whatever rate you want to sell it at. If you can sell it at a discount, half price, whatever. But we'll give you a special code. You just let us know. And but those are your 10 passes that you can definitely sell and earn some income for. All right. Festival prices have not been set yet. Sorry, but we cannot. I didn't even tell you how much it's going to cost yet, but we will set them before they go on sale, of course, which is scheduled for May 1st. Now, special performances is another category, again, under the Creative Arts Conference, and it's open to all artists and facilitators. We are still actually accepting call for speakers is still open, and special performances and events. Basically, what this is a master classes, workshops. These are for performers, musicians, bands, poets, monologue performers, comedians, impersonators, dance or physical troops, short plays, and films. So we've got some space available for that. We've got about 2 or 3 spaces left. We're pretty much filling up. And I have to go back and look and see if we've got any more submissions since the deadline passed. But we did leave it open in case there was somebody who maybe had a film or something, or a monologue, or poet, or something, poetry that they want to participate with. Now, the running time has to be less than 50 minutes. So it can be anywhere from really anywhere from 5 to 50 minutes, depending on what it is. The shorter, the better, because we can just squeeze you in and fit you in. I hate a festival participation fee for this event, this part of the event. I really honestly do. I can tell you, I'm always uncomfortable saying, and I'm always changing this. And the only reason why we charge for this, to be honest with you, is if we don't, if someone does not have skin in the game, they are more likely to quit and not show up. And then we've advertised you, we've put you up, we've people are coming, and you'd be surprised. People are coming to see you. They're coming to see you because they have a story, or they want to share, or they have a connection with your story or your title. So when we do things like that, like say for example, we schedule a dance troupe, and their daughter, even though it may only be 20 minutes of the festival, their daughter may love dance, and they don't have an opportunity to see a little girl dance and black ballet ballerinas. So they bring their daughter, and then you don't show up. And it's just the most frustrating thing. It has happened in the past. So I always hate charging this, but we have to, because we need to get you skin in. We need a commitment. People just don't, if they pay, they pay attention. That's what the saying goes. But again, you can generate revenue with CDs, and I want you to make that back. I want you to make money as an artist. That's why I'm here, because I want artists to be compensated. And then of course you will receive your 10 complimentary passes for the day of your event to be sold or bartered. So this gives you an opportunity to promote, to sell, to generate some income, because I don't want you to have to come and not make any money and just come out of pocket. And that just hurts my heart. It shouldn't cost you to be an artist. You should be paid to be an artist. Believe me, I feel that way. Now, all of this will take place at the Kimpton Overland Hotel. It's a beautiful hotel, absolutely beautiful. The hotel reservations, they're accepting reservations with the code ABT, Atlanta Black Theater, ABT. So go ahead and make your reservations if you're coming in. The link is actually on the website now. So go ahead and make your reservations, because we only block a certain number of rooms. Because once you start blocking like a whole lot of rooms, they want to make you guarantee a certain minimum. So we do a small block. Once those big book, and I've learned this because I've been doing this for a long time, once those book, will add rooms, but go ahead and get your room, especially as a performer. You probably want to be in the hotel, and it's very reasonable. It's only $139 a night. I thought that was very reasonable for Labor Day weekend. Huh. Yeah, where are you going to stay for Labor Day weekend at that rate? So it is I thought what was it was a godsend as far as I was concerned. So that's where you're going to be all day. We're going to start early at 10 a.m. and we're going to run until midnight. That night and that evening, all day during the day, we're going to have the stage readings, the short films, the classes and workshops. And then in the evening, around 8 o'clock, we're going to have a white party on the roof. So if you see that rooftop at the top of where the architect goes up to the sky, right there, there's a roof. It is fabulous. Oh my gosh. And we're going to have a white party because it's Labor Day and we have great food. We always have great food. Last year we had a country boil with shrimps and oh my gosh, it was amazing. Everybody loved it. But since it's a white party, we'll probably not do something as messy, but we'll definitely have some great food. And that's also included in your pass for the day that you'll be selling or giving away. And then for the special events, this is for full. This is actually the slide for, and it doesn't say it. I'm sorry, for full performances. So that those of you who are participating as a full performance, we actually got a grant to cover the cost of the venue, which is the Southwest Arts Center. So we will be paying for the venue, so you don't need to pay a festival fee. Thank you, God. We're growing. Life is getting better. So that's the good news because years ago or pre-pandemic, we charged upwards of anywhere from 650 to 1900, maybe even 2000 at some point to just to cover the venue. So now we've gotten a grant. We don't need to charge you, so we will not charge you. Your maximum running time is 90 minutes. Some of you, I'm going to ask you to ca- curtail it back, but we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. But no more than, for now, general rules, no more than 90 minutes, maximum run time. And there are no intermissions as a general rule, and there are no exceptions as a general rule. And then the submissions must have, you got the criteria, you've already been accepted. But let's go over the compensation and consideration. Uh, the revenue can be generated by your, again, branded merchandise, DVDs, t-shirts, books, etc., via the festival store, and we will give you 50 complimentary tickets to your event. So based on the ticket rate right now, it'll probably be $35. We have not crunched all of the numbers. We're actually still, because of COVID, the venue actually shut down in January and February, so we're still looking for them to give us a final price for the venue and all that. So our ticket price will be based on when all the numbers get crunched. But you can expect to earn about $1,750. It may be more, maybe less, but around that. So that's your earning in pocket if you sell your 50 tickets. And that, again, those tickets will be allotted to you. You could sell them at a discount. You can sell them for the, but you can't, only thing you can't sell them for is more than what we're selling them for, unless of course it's a sponsorship. And then when you get a sponsorship, let us know, because we can work with your sponsors to help make it valuable for you. The festival sets the admission price, and then again retains all the revenues with the exception of the comp tickets that we allotted to you. All right, so this is the Southwest Art Center. It's a 375 seater. It's absolutely beautiful, state of the art, and it is in the swankiest communities in Atlanta. It's an all black community, which I love being in, with all types of wonderful restaurants, and it's located about 15 minutes from the hotel. So there's not a whole lot going on in terms of getting stuck in Atlanta traffic. Thank God for that, because we're in the south side or southwest side of Atlanta. And it's also near the airport. So I talked about this during our orientation session. If you were a part of that, I assume that you were not, because not everybody did participate in it. But I always like all of you to look at the bigger picture. How does your story, because you're just not a playmaker, you're a teller of the stories. We're taking back our narratives. This to me, every time you write a word in a script, you speak, you are taking back your narrative. You are letting people know who you are, what your life experience has been. You're putting your stamp and your brand on the world, and you have every right to do that. And so it's important for you to understand what we are, what you join, what you're a part of. Why does the Atlantic Black Theater Festival matter? It matters because we are assisting in the development and the production of over 200 original works in the past 10 years. And in the course of Micah 68 Media, over 200 original works over the course of the ABTF, over 150 works. Um, we're providing performance opportunities for BIPOC artists, and making sure and trying our best to make sure that these artists get paid for their work. And it's nothing like that. We're sharpening your skills, but we're also providing you with an opportunity. And we all know that the opportunities are so rare. And then spotlighting our visual artists. We have a host of visual artists that come and they become a part of they're jewelry makers. They're not just painters. They're jewelry makers. They're art carvers. They're just all types of art. And this is how we preserve our culture. This is how we not only define our culture, because our culture definition was stripped through years of oppression and captured from our history, was denigrated during the transatlantic slave trade. But this is how we capture and redefine who we are. And it's so important. It's pivotal. If you don't understand that, then why are you doing what you do? Because everything we do is inspired and reflected by our experiences. So, uh, then we've offered 24 internships to students, and I can tell you every single year when we have our students, I ask them, how many internships have you had? Now, how are they going to be a creative in a creative career if they don't have any internships? So I ask them, how many internships have you had in a arts company? And 9 times out of 10, when I tell you, no, 9.9 times out of 10, it's zero. Zero. Why? Because art internships or internships in this industry for creatives are very rare, and they're hard to come by. And then on top of that, they're not, you all know, they're not picking African American students. So that is so critical to me, that you're in school, you're studying acting, you're studying to be a stage manager or a costume designer, and you can't get an internship. Come on, y'all. All right. I don't know if that means anything to you, but it means a whole lot to me. We also provide housing for traveling artists. Yes, for the full performances, we will provide accommodations for you. And this year, because of this generous grant that we received from the Community Foundation of Metro Atlanta, so yes, we'll be able to pay for that. So that's just so out of pocket for you, and we want to be able to do this, trust and believe across the board for all artist participants in the future. But for right now, we're reserving this for those of you who have been accepted in the full performance category. So you're not out of pocket at all. And then we also do monologue competitions. Again, these young people need to be able to do mock auditions and monologue competitions so that they can hone their craft and be good. Because if we can feed the pipeline for the next generation of storytellers, then guess what? That's about legacy. It's no longer about, I heard a sermon the other day where the pastor said your ages 20 to 40 is when you learn, 40 to 60 is when you leverage your learning, and then 60 and up is about legacy. So I'm going to be celebrating my 59th birthday. This is about legacy. So you're learning, you're leveraging, and then you're creating a legacy. So our audience reach, people want to see themselves on stage. We need to be able to develop these folks. We've recognized people like Pearl Clay, Doctors Carlton and Barbara Millette, Woody King, Bill Harris, Dr. Doris Derby, Melba Moore, and Tarian Black. So we've already paid, we're paying homage to the people who have come before us. And this is something that I'm most important and proud of. We operate 100% debt free. We have a surplus. Our operation is sound. Trust and believe my husband, the banker, made sure of that. After I, you know, drove our finances into the gutter back when I had to declare bankruptcy. We are financially sound. In fact, we are trying to develop a center or raise enough money, and we have a building fund. It's separate. It's a building fund where we are generating income so that we can build the very first center for the preservation of the performing arts of Black artists. So we are building that. It does not exist yet, but we are certainly moving towards that, building some kind of sustainable infrastructure, brick and mortar infrastructure, so you all can always come and say, I'm a part of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, and this is our building. It's owned, and it's owned by us, the community, for the preservation of our stories. So I think that deserves a hand clap. If you all don't already know that, you can certainly add that in the comments. But, just to summarize everything, and just to so you can get an idea of what this experience is going to be like. It's going to be fast paced. Everything is fast paced because we run everything back to back. That means that all of your preparation as a producer has to be done now. You have to start now, and just for the fact that we're going to be a month earlier than usual, trust and believe August comes fast, and before you know it, we're in Labor Day. So we used to have until October. For those of you who have been a part of the festival before, now we have until August. And one of the things that we do in practice, and it has worked for us as a festival, because fires always get started the last 30 days. I can tell you, if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. So we plan as if the festival were 30 days before. So since it's September the 1st, we'll plan as though it starts August the 1st. So everything we do, we plan as, and then we spend the last 30 days putting out fires. You should have the same mindset, because there's always going to be, because it's such a long way, there's always going to be an actor that gets sick, or God forbid, or can't be a part of it, because life happens. So you've got to plan as if it were August the 1st, and then you can relax and chill, and you're not doing last. And you know what? I've seen so many producers beat down their artists at the last minute with around the clock rehearsals. Let me just tell you this: I've produced a lot of stuff. You always need one more rehearsal. I don't care what it is. You're always going to need one more rehearsal. Once you get to the festival, allow the artist to breathe. And this is just wisdom and experience. Allow the artist to breathe. Allow the artist to decompress. They do better. They perform better. Acting is about channeling. And if, as an artist, you cannot channel when somebody is in your ear. And let me tell you something: if anybody in our audience has ever been in a play, you know what I'm talking about. Give that to your artists. Don't have them up to the minute all night rehearsing. Get it done in advance. Set a time and a schedule, and then let it go. It's going to be what it is. I'm not saying don't deliver excellence, do not deliver quality. But if you don't allow them to do their process as artists, then you're not hiring people that are the best suited for your project. So just remember that. Also, be flexible. It is so important. Some things happen. We have to make changes off the fly. All of our decisions that are made are, again, for the third time or fourth time, you're going to hear this ad nauseum, at the best interest of the user, the end user, the audience. So if we need to make a change or a switch or a flip to make it convenient for the audience, but it's inconvenient for you, this is the attitude you have to come with. We're great because the ABTF has made it to this level. Let me say that because of these policies, because of our philosophy, and also professionalism. I've been cursed out before. I don't deserve to be cursed out because I don't even get a salary. So it's not about me, it's about you presenting your works. So let's maintain a certain level of professionalism. Now, a lot of times what happens is I'll say this to all of the producers, and the producers are fine, but they don't communicate it with their cast and their crew. If you're a manager, you have to be able to manage your cast and crew. If you're a producer, if you're the director, you have to be able to manage your cast and crew. And I don't recommend that you be the producer and the writer and the director. There are a lot of people do that. It is not the way things should be done. If you want excellence, hire a director and work with that director to bring your project to fruition. I strongly recommend that. And I know the National Black Theater Festival does not allow playwrights, especially in to direct. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why there are protocols for that. And I know people don't do it because sometimes we can't afford to we can't afford to hire a director. It's just that simple. But so I don't make it mandatory because sometimes we just got to wear all those hats to get where we're going. I get it. Trust and believe I do. But make sure your crew is manageable. Make sure they're on your team and they're team players. It's not all about them, because a lot of times, people get honorary and they think it's all about them. And then one contact, only one person. I please don't have. It's already on board. I am talking to this 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 webinar. Maybe not today. Some will get it on the replay, but I am literally talking to probably 30 to 35 producers. I haven't counted them all. 30 to 35 people sending me emails is one thing, or sending our team emails is one thing. But you add on top of that all of your cast and crew. So if each person averages anywhere from 5 to 10 artists, that's over 200 folks. So one person, I will not respond. I will be polite, but I will not respond. I will direct them back to you, because one thing happens when you don't have when you're not managing a cast and crew. You're supposed to be the head of that. That's, for one, shows me that you're not in control because they're not listening to you. And if they're not listening to you between now and now and September, they're not going to listen to you when you get here. So that's going to be a problem for me when I hear from your cast or your crew members asking me questions that you already know because you've been going through the process and getting the emails. And that's another thing. We will send out monthly emails with information to help walk you through getting to the festival. They're called MMMs, monthly minute mails. Take about a minute to read because there's so much information and preparation that is needed in order for you to get to September and get here and us all be on one accord. We send out these monthly emails and they answer questions. They answer questions that you have. They answer questions that you haven't even thought of. Trust me, doing this for long enough to know what the questions are. They kind of reoccur. So, but that one contact is necessary. And then your cast and crew also has to be registered. Why do they have to be registered? Because we have to know who they are. Now, we understand it up to the last minute, you may be grabbing actors, and I'll talk about us helping with the actors now. We know that, but whatever they do, they have to sign a release which explains what the rules are, and that's through a registration form that we will provide for you. Um, as far as casting, if you already have your cast, great, fine, that's your team, you're rolling with them, cool. If you don't have a cast and you want to cast locally, I recommend that you complete a form, and that will come out around June. You look for that, and probably the June MMM, monthly minute mail. Definitely maybe even in May. We may even because everything is pushed forward. So forgive me if I don't get these months right. But anyway, we'll send it out to you. You'll fill out the form, and then we send out a casting notice. We have about 2,000 artists on our in our database, and there's some of them are locally. Some people trust and believe because Atlanta is so accessible. Cheap. We're like 10-hour drive, less than a day's drive from every major city. So if we have a somebody in our list from North Carolina, an actor, they may drive. You never know. Because so you can pull your crew and your cast from other regions as well. So go ahead. You will fill that out. We send it out, the casting notice, but don't just rely on that. Just you have to do your own recruiting as well. Social media is a wonderful opportunity. If you're not on social media, you absolutely got to get with the program because it really does connect everybody, especially during these COVID times. Um, and then marketing. Do it, do it, do it. Promote yourself. Let people know you're part of the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. That is not a small feat. Trust and believe. You've got an email list. Send out an announcement. Do a press release. And I'll tell you about press releases. I have people in your local community want to know what you're doing that makes their community, your community look good. Atlanta is a major market. If you're coming from a smaller market, a secondary or third market, um, they want to know that you've made it to the Atlanta Black Theater Festival. Trust and believe they do. It's a great human interest story, and I can tell you that one playwright in particular, Jeanette Hill, she used to always do press releases about her winning awards. Now she's the biggest thing since sliced bread in her hometown in Austin, Texas, getting grants, tens of $1,000s in grants and everything by leveraging the publicity of her being a part of the ABTF. And so yeah, so you definitely want to do that. You want to do your marketing. You want to engage your people, your email lists, and start building and let folks know you're here. A lot of people may want to come see you. People that normally wouldn't come see you in your own hometown or place, they may want to come see you because you're at the ABTF and it's Labor Day weekend. Everybody's always looking for something fun to do a Labor Day weekend. So go ahead and do that marketing. Let folks know where you are. Always got to give a shout out to the people who make all of this possible. So I don't want to be remiss. We give donors. Donors are our biggest base. I can tell you, individual donors, people that give often and give regularly, are the ones who sustain us. Because, of course, at the end of the day, you all know you can't earn a profit with ticket sales. If you're lucky, you'll break even with ticket sales. Well, that brings me to the end of this presentation. Up just under an hour. The next step is send me a high res image of your play, your cast, or yourself as a playwright, because we use all of these images to market for you. We will create your graphics. Years ago, we used to ask you to send your graphic. We don't want graphics anymore. We will do the graphics in-house, and our marketing team is putting together a calendar of posts, and we just need high res images. Now, anytime you send something to the ABTF, send it to support at atlantabtf.org and put your submission title in the subject area in all caps. And this is so you can get a response within 24 hours. And anybody who has emailed me, I try to get back to you, or our team tries to get back to you within 24 hours. And that's a fast response. If you put it in small letters, trust and believe it's going to get lost. But when we put it in all caps, then it pops when we open up our email, and it'll surpass that junk email that we get. And then book a call with me. I want to speak to each individually. I want to speak to each one individually. Just a 15-minute call, because I really want to do a better job at connecting with you and your needs to plan beforehand. Now, This is for preliminary, and then you'll also get another tech call from our technical director. You'll have to book a call with that person as we get closer. But right now, I want to talk to you. I want to answer your questions. I want to know more about your project. We did something a lot different this year. Projects were judged by adjudication committee, and if you scored 90 or above, you automatically were admitted to the festival. So I want to talk to you more about your application and how you see this going. So it's a 15-minute call, and you can book a call with me at axtony.youcanbook.me. I have some individual questions that I need to ask you, and just make sure we're on the same page when it comes to you bringing your team to the festival and your participation in the festival. If you are, and this is whatever you're doing, even if you're doing a master class, whatever you're doing, just book a call with me, 15 minutes, so we can hone in. Again, the word for the week or the year: focus. We want to be focused. And at the end of the day, August Wilson didn't say this. I said that. That's a typo right there. We must tell our stories. So that is the end of the presentation. So I'm going to jump back on here to see if we have any questions. I'm going to stay on for about 10 minutes to see if you have any questions. Go ahead and put them in. I see lots of comments. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Yes, you do have to have a talk back after the reading. Thanks for asking that. That's Alethea. Oh my gosh, she's a phenomenal writer. Everybody, I don't even want to start saying that because everybody in here is a phenomenal writer. Is the cast a part of the 10 passes we receive for the stage reading? Um, yes, they are. They are. Um, but that's a good question. They are as of now. Um, yeah, the cast is a part of the 10 passes. They are. Absolutely. Okay. Next question. Do you have to have someone available to sell your merchandise in the store? How is that revenue distributed? Oh, great question. We have the store is managed by a volunteer, and we only take credit cards. So you fill out an inventory slip, and what you drop off is whatever you sell. So we keep account of it, and typically, we would keep 15% of it, but we're not doing that this year. You get all of the revenue, but you are responsible for taxes and fees. Any taxes that are applicable, you have to pay them. So we just give you what we um, whatever you sell. So in other words, if you have a book you want to sell, you sell it for $10. You bring 10 books, you put them on the shelf, 5 sell, we give you $50, and we reconcile that after the festival. Okay. So you get 100%. We're not taking anything anymore. All right. Will we be performing on a stage? I assume that's for stage readings. Um, and that is the answer to that question is no. It's a conference room. It will be set up theater style. Um, so that is what it is. All right, I'm going through this really fast. I just want to make sure that I'm getting all of the questions. I'm assuming that they're towards the end. I just don't want to leave anything out. All right. I think we got all the questions. All right. How do we pay the festival fee and the festival fee, and when is it due? Okay. How do we pay the festival fee and when is it due? The festival, you will receive an invoice via your email. So, and then you can go ahead and make the payment. Look for that in the next 2 weeks. Okay. Any other questions? I am so excited. Here's one: sound effects. That's what's the best way to include sound, or what's available. Is this for a Richelle? Is this for a full performance or a stage reading? I'm not sure. All right, I'll answer it for both. Sound effects, if you're doing a full performance, then we have, of course, sound and sound technicians. Uh, on that will work with you for your sound effects. We will have QLab. We will require QLab. So if you have anything sound, because it's just too much going on, you need QLab. So if you don't know anything about QLab, we'll talk about that during our one-on-one. And then you need to get everything up on a QLab. That's sound and lights programmed, pre-programmed. And then if it was for a stage reading, then it's whatever you carry in your hand is what is a conference room. That whatever you bring, is what you use. But just believe, trust and believe, you can't bring a set. You can bring props, you can bring a speaker if you want, but it's a small conference room. It'll seat about 50 to 100 people, depending on where we are in this COVID situation. So, the room seats comfortably 100, but we may have to break them up and make them smaller if COVID is still an issue. Of course, fly. It's all flying by the hip in COVID. Emily says, will potential audiences be able to buy tickets to individual stage readings and full performances? They'll be able to provide to full performances, but stage readings, no. We're doing the pass. Again, we're doing the pass. And I know that's a point of contention for a lot of people. And it's, if you go to a film festival, or you go to a festival, I'm not going to apologize. That's our policy. Um, it's just is. It includes a lot. If you're coming to the festival, you're coming to the festival. You're not just coming to see one person. You're coming to enjoy the festivities. Those are the audiences we're cultivating. We're not cultivating an audience that just wants to do a one and done. Um, we want when you go to the jazz fest, you Capital Jazz Fest, say, well, I just want to see Shaka Khan, I don't want to see anybody else, I just want to see. No, you go for the day, you hang out, it's an experience, you participate in the vendors, you meet people. That's what our festival is. It's and that's the kind of festival cultivating. So I hope that answers your question, Emily. And I'm just being honest. I appreciate your question too. All right, we've got more. Okay, another great question, Gloria. This year is proof of vaccination required again. Um, I don't think we will deal with anything COVID other than wearing masks this year. We have not changed our policy. And I know you need to know as soon as possible. Uh, right now, our policy is the same as it was last year. You need proof of vaccination if you're going to perform. Um, but right now, I think we're going to be moving towards just requiring that people in the audience wear masks. So circle back with me on that. I'm following the science. I'm following what the trends are. I'm reading, I'm researching. We have someone who does professional training. We've been on professional trainings. Our staff has. So I'll tell you that we exercise even more extreme precaution because we're an African American organization, and the headlines will read, what the headlines will read, and they'll destroy our reputation if someone, God forbid, catches COVID and dies as a result of attending the festival. And that's why we're so strict, Gloria. I know we had a little back and forth last year about this, and your concerns are very valid. But that's the reason why we have to protect our reputation, and it's just not worth it. It's not an essential event. I know you have artists that are your favorite. You want them to participate, and they have vaccination issues, but we have to be really cautious. So right now, the COVID policy is on the homepage of our website. If we update it or change it, you will see the date we updated it and the changes made. So just check that periodically, and you'll be able to see our COVID policy as we move forward. Okay, I hope that helps, Gloria. Could we utilize the sound system in the conference room or bring speakers for sound? There are no sound. There is no sound system in the conference room. It is plain, empty space. Um, they may have some piped in music. I'm not even sure, but you can bring your own speaker if you want. You certainly can. If you have music in the background uh, that you want to um, that you want to show. So, I mean, that you want to showcase. It has to be low though, because sound carries. If you have an amplifier, we may ask you to turn it down. So don't count on it being the center and focal point of your piece. If you have music, it has to be background music. So just remember I said that when we ask you to turn it down. Remember, music and amplified sound is just the background, is not the focal point. All right. Um, excited to be a part of this. How can we submit to be a speaker, presenter, or masterclass workshop performance? Janine, oh my gosh, your piece. Oh my gosh. Anyway, y'all got to see her. Anyway, all the pieces are so hot. Janine, you can go to the website. Submission page is still open, and you can submit if you have a master class that you want to teach or you want to do a panel. We are still accepting. We are still accepting submissions for that. I got a little distracted. Trying to do too much. Okay. All right. I hope I got everybody. And you can always again shoot me an email. Don't forget though. Don't forget to do the next steps. And the next steps are you have to go ahead, send me an high res images of your production or your professional, not one that your girlfriend did that you was looking hot that night, or a professional headshot, and then your email it to support@atlantabtf.org, and then put your submission title in all caps. That's how we identify you. And then also book a call with me so we can talk about you specifically. Love, love, love all of your work. Every year I say this, but every year it's true. This will be the best festival yet. Trust and believe when you see all of your wonderful work. I am so excited. Y'all are doing the dang on thing. So love you, love you, love you. I hope to see you soon. Have an amazing Saturday and enjoy. And until next time, when I see you on a book call, stay safe and keep yourself creating, because we must tell our stories.